The old grandfather clock in the hallway chimed midnight. Each chime felt like a hammer blow to my chest. I sat there, phone clutched in my hand, staring at the blank screen. It was our anniversary, our 10th anniversary, and Sarah was supposed to call. She was on a business trip, a last-minute conference she just couldn't miss. I'd made her favorite dinner, lasagna, and it was now cold and congealed on the stove. The bottle of wine I'd picked out remained unopened, a lonely sentinel on the kitchen counter. I kept telling myself there was a reasonable explanation. Maybe her phone died. Maybe the meetings ran late and she fell asleep, exhausted. I reread her last text from that morning. "Can't wait to talk tonight, my love. Happy anniversary." It felt like a message from a different lifetime. 1 o'clock came and went, then 2, my thumb hovered over her contact picture, a smiling photo of us from last summer's trip to the lake. I wanted to call to hear her voice, but a cold dread held me back. What if she didn't answer? What would that silence mean? I paced the living room, the floorboards groaning under my feet like they were sharing in my anxiety. The silence in the house was deafening, a thick, suffocating blanket. Every creak, every distant car horn made me jump, hoping it was her. But the phone remained dark. The silence wasn't just an absence of sound, it was a presence. It was a cold, heavy entity filling every corner of our home, whispering doubts I had been trying to ignore for months. It started subtly. The late nights at the office, the hushed phone calls she'd take in the other room, the way she'd started guarding her phone like it was a state secret. When I'd ask, she'd just laugh it off. "You're being so paranoid, Mark," she'd say, patting my cheek. "It's just work stress." I wanted to believe her. I loved her. We had built a life together, a home filled with memories and dreams for the future. You don't just throw that away because of a few doubts, right? You trust the person you vowed to spend your life with. But tonight, that trust was crumbling, brick by brick, with every passing second of silence. By 3 in the morning, a grim acceptance began to settle in. This wasn't about a dead phone battery or a long meeting. This was a choice. She had chosen not to call. On our anniversary, the excuses I had been building in my mind to protect myself, to protect us, all came crashing down. The image of her laughing with a colleague, David, at the company picnic last month flashed in my mind. The way he'd put his hand on her back just for a second too long. At the time, I'd dismissed it. Now it was a searing, vivid image. Was she with him right now? The thought was a physical pain, a sharp, twisting knife in my gut. I felt foolish, naive. How had I not seen it? Or had I seen it and simply chosen to look away? I finally fell into a restless sleep on the couch around dawn, the phone still in my hand. I woke up a few hours later to the sound of a notification. It was a text from Sarah. My heart leaped, a foolish flicker of hope against all odds. I opened it. "So, sorry, honey. I fell asleep as soon as I got to my room. Crazy day. Happy belated anniversary. Talk soon." The words were so casual, so dismissive. No, I love you. No, I miss you. Just a flimsy excuse that felt more insulting than the silence itself. It was the final confirmation. She didn't even care enough to craft a believable lie. Her silence all night had told me the truth, but this text, this soulless, empty message, sealed it in stone. I looked around the living room, at the photos on the mantelpiece. Us on our wedding day, beaming. Us holding our newborn niece. Us on countless vacations, frozen in time, smiling. It all felt like a movie about someone else's life. The man in those photos was blissfully unaware, happy. I envied him, but I wasn't him anymore. Sarah's silence hadn't just broken my heart, it had broken the illusion I had been living in. It had forced me to see the truth, no matter how ugly, and as painful as it was also liberating. The waiting was over. The uncertainty was gone. Now, there was only the difficult path forward. That morning, I packed a bag, not for her, but for me. I took the cold lasagna from the stove and threw it in the trash. I poured the unopened wine down the sink. As the red liquid swirled down the drain, I felt like I was washing away the last 10 years. It was a symbolic act, a cleansing. I left her wedding ring on the counter, right next to her car keys. I didn't write a note. I didn't need to. Our story hadn't ended with a fiery argument or a dramatic confrontation. It had ended in the dead of night with the profound, deafening, and ultimately honest sound of silence. It told me everything I needed to know. The silence had been her confession, and my departure was my answer. Walking out of that house, I felt a strange mix of profound sadness and quiet strength. The road ahead was going to be hard. I knew that. Healing from this kind of betrayal isn't easy. It takes time, patience, and a lot of self-love. But for the first time in a long time, I wasn't waiting for a call. I wasn't holding my breath for a text. I was walking towards a future that was my own, a future where silence wouldn't be a weapon, but a space for peace and healing. It was a new beginning, born from a painful end. And as the sun rose higher in the sky, I felt its warmth on my face and kept walking, leaving the shadows behind. If you've ever felt that kind of deafening silence, know that you are not alone. It's a painful place to be, but it can also be the starting point for reclaiming your own life and your own happiness. Thank you so much for listening to my story today. Your support means the world. If this resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more stories about navigating life's toughest moments. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you in the next one.